Yo, what's going on, Crazen's channel? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Pat McAfeebas show. We already got the game started here between the Dayton Dragon Knights and the Las Vegas Latias. David, what do you see here? What stands out to you?
Yeah, and so we're starting off with seeing Aurora Vale lead from the Dayton Dragonites. Really not super surprising when you got the Nine Tails on the team. You want to get the Vale up, right? Um, and those of you who are fans of the channel will know we are Nine Tails enthusiasts. We know how it works, and we do see a good switch into the Volcanion for that four times resist on the Blizzard by the Las Vegas Latias in a flame charge. I mean, what can you say about these kind of plays, Skylar? Like, this is the kind of thing we see from President Butts.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm seeing a Ninetales and a Moltres, and I already know what President Butts does with those. So this is exactly the kind of stuff that I'm expecting to see out of this league.
Oh, for sure. And we see a Volt Switch come out, probably predicting. Now, an interesting thing is that that Volcanion could have been Terra Ground. We don't know if it is or not, but that is a possibility. And the Dayton Dragonites made a prediction that it was not going to Terastallize into the ground type, and that he was not going to go into the Landorus Therian, which was bold. It was a bold prediction, but it worked out for him. Now, what do you expect to see
Maybe
here from the Urshifu, Skylar?
this is the dark type Urshifu, and I don't think it's going to be able to do a whole lot to this muck. So I think he's going to want to U-turn right on out of here, would be my guess.
So he goes for the
Or
close combat. Wow. Into the Lander Therian. Now, judging by my calc decks that you could see here on the right side of the screen, it is doing less than this says, implying the Landers probably has some bulk in it. And the Landers brick breaks the Aurora Veil.
that's
Wow.
not a great turn for Team Kevin here.
And it
That,
appears to be a choice scarfed Landorus which picks up the KO. Wow. I mean,
that was a big play from a big guy right there.
that
Getting
was,
rid of Vale for the rest of the game, picking up a KO.
I
That's
mean,
a great way to start off this game for Mr. Big Man Nico.
that is a real game changer. Now we do see the U-turn here, so Dayton Dragonites getting the momentum back, but honestly, losing that Veil and losing the Nine Tails is it's pretty tough. How do you think
Yeah,
they come back from that?
that's a great question. I think the thing with Aurora Veil is that it's always nice to have, but I think that's just gonna it's gonna speed up the way Kevin's gonna have to play this game. I think he's gonna have to win it a lot quicker now.
I
Gives
think
him
you're right.
a little less time to can't buy as much time with just adding that extra bulk to your Pokemon. So, I mean, when there's a Dragapult, there's a way, right?
For sure. Now, do you think we see the Terra Ground here from? Well, we don't. Interesting. We don't even see the switch into the Landorus, which we know is choice scarfed at this point, so it will outspeed the Raikou.
I do like the little dual coverage option here of Landorus plus this Volcanion here because you got the Water Absorb and the Flying type. So you're immune to that Scald from the Raikou or the Thunderbolt, depending on who you're
Wow,
in with,
that's a good
making
point.
him
Now, the
making him
Raikou,
think.
the Raikou is also a Terra Captain, and we expect to see that Terra Ice probably to hit that Landorus. Um, Now, I think it has two other possibilities that I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I don't know. What are you thinking we're going to see Terra wise? Will we see the Metagross or the Raikou Terra? I guess.
I think it's gonna probably be the Metagross here. I think that Metagross really doesn't like this Volcanion Landorus matchup, and if you're gonna bring it, I think it's here. It's probably here for the Valiant, and so I'd expect a Terra would flip the matchup on the Landorus or
Oh my! That's a
that was a
huge.
big critical hit.
That is a massive Steam Eruption critical hit into the Mole Trace for the KO from the big man. That was and we see the
You think that
Urshifu.
was a roll? You
I
think that Moltres could have hung on?
I think the Moltres probably would have hung on without the critical hit, unless that is the choice specs Volcanion, which is a possibility. Although it seems that if it was offensive Moltres, it would not have lived. So it might not have mattered.
Oh, and another big
Wow!
kill for Nico.
And we see the Raikou come in on the Landorus, clearly not predicting an earthquake. Um,
That's a
wow.
pretty safe Corviknight switch there.
For sure. It's looking like you're gonna get the Rock Helmet chip. Probably you can body press or Brave Bird, whatever you've got here. It's looking like a big win for the big man right now. Do you think the Dayton Dragonites can pull this one back?
I mean, I wouldn't count out Dragapult, but this Muck is still pretty healthy, and there's a full HP to Dunsparce, so you can't even lock into a Ghost move for the Dragapult. So I think it's looking pretty dire here for
Oh my,
the
but
date.
it appears to be Choice Scarfed Urshifu as it outsped the Choice Scarf Landorus and hit it with the Wicked Blow, which obviously ignores the attack drop. But we see the Terra Fairy from the Dudon Sparse with Rattled and a Calm Mind. Do you think the game is over here? I think it might
I
be.
think it just might be. As Urshifu was stuck into doing whatever it's doing here, and I think the big man booty plug is gonna. I think it's gonna pick up 3 KOs. Is my
I th-
guess.
I think you're right, and it seems that unfortunately the Surfer is giving it more speed boost. After one speed boost, it would not have been able to outspeed the Dragapult, but it will be able to now, and it looks like Kevin is just going to allow. Oh, he's struggling. Well, you don't
Yeah,
see
I
someone
think
struggle every day.
we're gonna have to see if this Metagross can do something about this. I think a bullet punch crit. I think I don't even know if that kills.
I don't have a lot of faith in it, but I do think that we're going to see an Earth Power come out here from the big man booty plug. We do see a bullet punch. We do see the
No
Earth
Terra
Power.
from the Metagross either.
Yeah, we don't see the Terra. That is tough. Yeah, it is Power Herb Dragapult, and it was still faster. But
That's a cool tech. I wonder if
wow,
it was acrobatics too.
I bet it was. I bet you're right. I bet it was Dragon Dance, Acrobatics, Dragon Darts, and Phantom Force. Huh. But we see the Dudon Sparse come through here in the end with the calm mind. And wow, what a game it really was by the big man. What do you think this means for the Las Vegas Latias?
That's a big week 2 win. That's Kevin's a fierce opponent, and I don't think this matchup looked easy at all. So I think that's a big momentum shift here for the big men. Keeping rolling him into week 3. I think he's in a real good spot.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Well, do you have any other final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, what do you, I guess I don't really know. What do you think? What do you think was the big turn here? What do you think Kevin could have done differently?
In terms of things you could have done differently, I think a big one was probably losing the Nine Tails was pretty big. Um, back when on I think letting the Ninetales get poisoned on turn two was actually kind of silly because you get knocked off, which is pretty bad. You lose your light clay, so it becomes that much worse. And you encore it to get poisoned, which was unfortunate. And then here, blizzarding on an obvious switch because he's encored. That I think was actually a moment when he could have taken momentum. Not really the moment that lost him the game. I think the moment that
Yeah.
lost him the game. I think the Ninetale sack was bad, but I think the worst turn was right here. So he's in with his Choice Scarf Urshifu, locked into close combat. And if you look at his whole team, nobody wants to take an Earthquake. And he
Hmm.
chooses to sacrifice his Raikou, which is his Terra Captain, and probably was Terra Ice. And with the way we saw the rest of this game play out, it probably could have done with that terrestrialization a lot more damage. Could have taken out the Landorus, could have also taken out the Stanley Steamer. If he still chose to terrestrialize the Dudon Sparse, I think losing Raikou was the biggest mistake here. Do you have any
I,
thoughts?
I like I like that. I like that call. I think his two Terra captains here, the Metagross and the Raikou, we didn't get to see a Terra, and as we all know, Terra's pretty strong. And so I think that getting into a position where maybe we could have gotten more value out of those Terras would have been a big move.
For sure. But I think the big man played this one really well. I think Nika moved the pieces he needed to move. He put himself in a position to win, and he executed his end game strategy perfectly.
I agree. I think he played a pretty safe game where he didn't need to make a lot of crazy reads. He just played his game, got a little bit of value each turn, and I
For
think
sure.
ultimately he took a pretty convincing victory.
Honestly, the only question this leaves after this game that you got to let us know in the comments below is with this Dudon Sparse Volcanion combo, will there be a second soundproof incident in which Nico clicks a sound-based move into a soundproof Pokemon. What are your thoughts on that, Skylar? And what should they comment
I
below about that?
I mean, I'd love to hear people's thoughts in the comments, but in my eyes, it's almost a guaranteed outcome. I think this is like betting on the Chiefs. Looking at Super Bowl Sunday here, I think this is a pretty safe bet that we will see a big man click a boom burst into a soundproof Pokemon.
I honestly couldn't agree more. All right. And with that, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.
Thank you everyone for watching.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording now.
Perfect.